What if I told you the world you live in isn't real? That everything you see, feel, and believe might just be part of a code? Close your eyes for a second. Imagine that your entire life was built on a lie. But not just any lie. A computational simulation so advanced you can't distinguish the virtual from the real. And worse, you were programmed not to question it. Welcome to the reality that most call life. But some dare to call it the Matrix, and others the prison of the soul. Are you ready to see behind the curtain? Imagine being born inside a dark cave. From your very first breath, you're chained. Your arms, legs, neck, all immobilized. You can only look forward. In front of you, there's a wall. Shadows move on it, distorted figures, echoing voices. And you believe that is reality, because it's all you've ever known. This was the allegory Plato left us more than 2,000 years ago. But it wasn't just philosophy. It was a spiritual warning, a map for those who seek awakening. One day, one of the prisoners breaks free. Struggling, he stands up, stumbles, his eyes hurt, and he begins to climb. He leaves the darkness of the cave and, for the first time, sees the sunlight. He's blinded, afraid, confused. But slowly, his eyes adjust. And then he realizes everything he believed was real was a lie. The shadows, just projections. Reality was always beyond the wall. Transformed, he goes back down. He wants to set the others free, but when he tells them what he saw, they reject him. They ridicule him, call him mad. Why? Because truth frees, but it also terrifies. It's more comfortable to live in illusion than face the light. Now, look around you. Do you see the modern cave? The chains are now invisible. They're in the beliefs that limited you, in the fears you were taught, in the systems that programmed you. You grew up looking at screens, not the real world. You were taught to work, not to awaken. You're fed distractions that numb the soul, so well crafted that it all seems normal. But what if you were the prisoner who started to question? Who looks at the shadows and says, "This can't be all. There must be something more"? That's the first step to awakening. As Plato once said, education is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. And that fire may already be burning inside you. What few understand is that the cave is not a physical place. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. And every true seeker goes through the same path. First, you question. Then, you climb the ladder. And once you see the light, you can never be the same again. But be careful. The world praises those who obey the shadows. Awakening takes courage, because once you leave the cave, you start seeing the whole game, and you realize you were asleep inside a simulation. What is the Matrix? A prison, but not one made of walls or bars. A prison made of ideas. An invisible system so well designed that you defend it without realizing. The movie wasn't just entertainment. It was a prophecy disguised as fiction. A brutally honest metaphor about the world we live in. A world that keeps you too busy to think, too tired to awaken, and too distracted to question. The Matrix is not something you see, it's something you feel. It's that void you try to fill with consumption. It's that silent unease deep within your soul that whispers, "Something's wrong with the world." And you know it is. Because the Matrix has architects, and it stands on pillars designed to keep you asleep. They created money, and then taught you that your survival depends on it. An endless cycle of work, bills, debts, and more debts. You wake up early, run all day, and barely live. All for what? For colored paper that has no real value, yet controls your life? That's not freedom. That's modern slavery. And the cruelest part? You still say thank you for it. Left or right, government A or government B, all part of the same board game. The division is intentional. A divided people never sees who's truly controlling the game. You vote, protest, pick sides, but in the end, nothing changes. This isn't about faith, but control of faith. True spirituality is liberating, but many religious systems were twisted to pull you away from your divine essence. You were born free, but taught you're a sinner, that you need a mediator between you and the divine, that you must obey, fear, submit. But the truth is, the temple is within you. Heaven is a state of consciousness, and that is what they don't want you to discover. Since childhood, you were placed in a room, hours a day, years on end. They taught you formulas, dates, obedience, but never how to think for yourself. School wasn't designed to create wise people. It was designed to create employees, cogs in the machine, obedient automatons. True education connects you to your essence, your mission, your creative power, and that you only find outside the Matrix. Science should be a search for truth, but today, it often acts like dogma dressed as logic. If something doesn't fit the official narrative, it's ridiculed, ignored, silenced. Who funds science dictates what's allowed to be discovered, and what doesn't serve the system simply doesn't exist. But quantum physics already showed us. The observer changes the observed. Consciousness shapes reality, and that changes everything. Because the world isn't just matter, it's energy, vibration, information. You are the code and the coder. The greatest trick the Matrix pulled was convincing you it doesn't exist. But now you're starting to see the wires, starting to feel that something within you wants to escape this invisible prison. Waking up is painful, but staying asleep is living a life that was never truly yours. Let's go even deeper. What if the world is code? Many modern scientists and philosophers, like Nick Bostrom, already discuss the idea that we live inside an advanced simulation. Quantum physics supports this idea. Particles only appear when observed, as if the universe only renders what you focus on, just like a video game. That would explain why everything seems so mathematical, symmetrical, programmed. But who programmed it? Extra-dimensional beings? Ourselves in a distant future? Or is it all a spiritual experience dressed in binary code? If it's all true, what's the way out? Your consciousness is the key. The answer lies within. You can't fight the Matrix outside because it lives in your mind. True freedom begins when you question, when you seek self-knowledge, inner truth, and activate your awareness. That's why most people fear silence. In the silence, the soul speaks, and when it speaks, you begin to see beyond the shadows of the cave. The world you see is only part of what exists. The Matrix is real, but the key to escape it is within you. Don't believe everything you were taught. Question, observe, awaken. And if this video made you think, you've already begun to step out of the simulation. Share this message with someone who needs to wake up. And tell me in the comments, do you feel like you're living inside the Matrix, or have you already started to escape it?